Welcome to YOLO or No Go, a millennial money show dedicated to helping you find a balance between only living once and saving for retirement. I'm Carmen Perez, your host, and today we are going to be speaking with a few millennials that are calling in about questions that they need answered about their current financial situation. Sarah is our first caller, calling in from my home state. Sarah, what do you got?
Hey Carmen, thanks for taking my call. So here's what I've got. I have approximately $37,000 of student loan debt.
Okay.
I am 27 years old, and where I'm really struggling is I just recently graduated with my master's degree from the University of South Florida in mechanical engineering. And where I'm struggling is, should I start saving for a home, or should I try to tackle my debt first? I also have $12,000 in savings, if that helps.
No, that's awesome. Congratulations on graduating. Have you started the job search or have an offer out?
Yes, I'll be getting a new job. I just recently got an offer from a firm here that I'll start working at in a couple of months. So that's good news, and I think my income should be fairly good. I'll probably be making $65,000 to $70,000 to start.
Awesome.
So really my biggest question is, should I start tackling debt or save for a home? Really, I'm just having FOMO because at this age my parents already had a home and I don't have one. And a lot of my friends, obviously on Facebook, I see them, they have homes, they're having families and moving forward with their life, and I just feel like this debt might be weighing me down a little bit.
Sarah, that's an excellent question, and so many millennials struggle with this, right? So we're always inundated with Facebook and Instagram and trying to figure out the right balance of how we should go about trying to keep up with our friends and really, doing what works best for us and what is best for us. And honestly, the first thing that I can say is, write down your goals. Figure out where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years, and then from there, figure out a plan as to, how you want to go about tackling your debt or saving for a home. Now, my short answer for you, it's a no-go for saving for the home right now. You just graduated. You may not want to stay where you're at, especially when it comes to your job. You might work there for a few years, but you don't want to really get tied down or bogged down in the process of getting a home where it might not be where you want to end up at, right? So that's one. Number two is really you have a debt that's very manageable, and because you just got an offer, congrats again, you will have the ability to start paying this back and paying it as fast as possible, right? So you have $12,000 sitting in savings. I recommend you figure out what's going to work for you once you get your job. And you start working and you start generating that income. For right now, I would leave the $12,000 there until the job comes through, it's actually in hand, you're working, you've received a paycheck, and then you can start tackling your debt and doing that very quickly. Now, once you start working, you get that regular paycheck, what you need to figure out within that $12,000 that you currently have saved is what can you feel comfortable with for establishing an emergency fund in the interim while you're trying to pay down debt. So if your expenses, aren't that high, or definitely wouldn't max out $12,000, aren't even close to that, I would say figure out a number that will cover your expenses for 1 to 2 months of that $12,000 that you have saved. Leave the 1 to 2 months of expenses, so rent, utilities, insurance, and all that jazz. Leave that in your account, and then take the rest, anything that's left over, and put it towards your debt. Now, you said you had, your student loans that are in their 30s. You'll be able to tackle that a lot quicker if you just take the leap and use some of that money that you have sitting in your savings to pay it down. Again, not depleting your savings and not putting all the $12,000 towards your debt, but getting a number in there that's comfortable, that will help you maintain, if there's an emergency for 1 or 2 months right now, and then taking the rest of that savings and throwing it towards debt. Once you figure out and pay off all of your debt, then you can switch focus towards building a solid emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and then also, save towards a house. Thank you so much for tuning in to YOLO or No Go, the show dedicated to teaching millennials about the balance between YOLO and saving for retirement. I'm your host, Carmen Perez. Stay tuned until next time.